Hello. These are a couple of my summer onions that I harvested last week. As you can see, the tops are still on the onion. The top's bent over, so we knew it was time to harvest them. And we've got them indoors drying out. I think you'll agree that not a bad onion, are they? We're quite pleased with those. And I'm going to cut you to some film now of me harvesting those onions. Just a very short clip to show you what I managed to achieve from half a raised bed. So that was a 4 foot by 4 foot area. Originally I had these guys outdoors on a frame that I'd built, but no sooner did I put them on that frame it started to rain, and it's rained ever since. So if I'm going to dry these guys out, they had to come indoors. So I've now got a frame in the garage and I'm drying these guys out in the garage. So check this out. What do you want them all? Hey, won't you be looking for potatoes? Hey, come out of there. That one word from me, and that dog was exactly as she pleases. Molly, come out of there. If you pull any off the top, any of those potatoes, they'll be green and they won't do you any good. It's onions we're dealing with today. I can't believe this. I'm absolutely gobsmacked. All those onions came out of an area of raised bed, 4 foot by 4 foot. That was a 99p packet of seeds, probably half the packet sown. Okay, so that was the summer onions being harvested. They're all drying now, waiting to go into store. We are actually using them, and they are a lovely onion. And they were grown from seed, and I'm glad I chose to grow from seed this year, because I've actually had some disasters growing from sets. I don't seem to be able to grow onions from sets, and certainly not winter onions. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to move on from these summer onions to winter onions. And the winter onions that I grew last year, at least half of them bolted and went to seed. This year, growing these summer onions, I think I had one onion that went to seed. So I was really pleased with that. But yeah, there is a difference, I guess, between growing onions through summer, which seems to be a more natural thing to do, than growing them through winter. But I'm going to give it another go this year. That's what this video is about. And I'm going to bring my winter onions into shot now and let you compare them with what these guys used to look like before they grew into these such big onions. These are my winter onions. I hope you can see them. These onions and these onions came from the same packet. Check this packet out, and in particular check out the planting dates, the sowing dates recommended on the packet. Check those out. Okay, did you notice that there were 2 sow dates on the packet? That's because these onions can be grown in summer and in winter. These ones were like this early spring of the year. I'd sown them early spring of the year, and probably by late spring of the year they were more like this. And then we put them in the ground, and by late summer of the year, early autumn, they'd grown from this to this, and then we harvested them. Okay, so we used the first sow by date to grow these onions. We've used the second sow by date to grow these onions, and we're hoping to grow them on through winter to give us something like this early summer, middle of summer next year. But only time will tell if we can achieve that. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go outdoors shortly, and we're going to sow these onions in the bed that these onions have just came out of. So that bed has been fallow now for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks I think. But clearly these onions will have taken some of the goodness out of that bed, so we need to put some of the goodness back. But one of the things I did do before I harvested these onions, I actually checked the pH of the bed. So I'm going to cut to a short piece of film about checking pH, soil pH and soil modification now. Check this out. Onions do best in a soil that has a pH of between 5.5 and 6.5.
We're not far away from where we want to be in terms of pH for growing onions in this raised bed, but a light dusting of lime once these onions have been lifted should sweeten this bed up nicely, just lifting it to between 5.5 and 6.5 pH, the recommended pH level for soils to grow onions.
Okay, so I think you can probably see from that short clip that the soil pH is tested in several places in the bed, averaged out at between 5 and 5.5 pH, and the recommended pH for growing onions is between 5.5 and 6.5, slightly higher. So the way to raise the pH in the bed is to add some garden lime, and that's what I intend to do. The pH level in the bed is there or thereabouts where it wants to be, so I will not be adding a lot of garden lime, but I will be adding some just to try and lift it that little bit to get it to between 5.5 and 6.5. Okay, so we're going to sweeten the bed by adding some lime. Also at the same time I'm going to add some fertilizer because these onions will have taken something out of there and it needs to go back in before I plant these guys. So I'm actually going to add what I've got on the shelf, and I've got some fish blood and bone, I've got some gromor, I don't know if you noticed, but both fish blood and bone and gromor are balanced fertilizers. The NPK numbers are more or less the same. So we're adding some balanced fertilizer, and I also have some 6X dry farmyard manure left over. Not a lot, and I'm going to use that as well because there's nothing else to plant this year, there's nothing else to grow this year, so I'm actually just using that up. So we'll apply that in no specific quantities, just a light dusting of everything. We'll rake it in, then we'll plant these guys, and fingers crossed we'll get some good winter onions at the beginning to the middle of summer next year to harvest, and hopefully not as many bolted as bolted last year. Okay, let's go into the garden.
that didn't take long, did it? We've added some lime to sweeten the bed, raise the pH level slightly if we can. We've added some Gromo, we've added some fish blood and bone, and we've added some 6X. All general fertilizers, all balanced fertilizers to put a bit of spark back into this bed. This bed's already produced in the region of, I don't know, 60 onions this year, and now we're going to plant onions in it again. And it's hardly been out of service 2 or 3 weeks, but hey, we like our quick turnarounds at homegrown veg. If there's a bare patch of ground, we need to be doing something with it. You know that we recycle our compost in our pots. We don't let it go to waste. You know we can get 2 crops from 1 pot. We've done it, haven't we? Early potatoes out, leeks in. Early potatoes out, celery in. Well, this is summer onions out, winter onions in. Don't know if it'll work. It's the first time I've done this. Onions after onions. And last year's winter onions were a disaster. More than half of them going to seed. So anyway, let's give it a shot. Let's get these onions in. I've done a quick count. I think there are about 40, but I'm not sure. Okay. Nice wee root ball on it. That should take okay. Hello, Molly. Do you think you could go around the other side, sweetheart? You're in the way around this side. Go around the other side, Moll. Go around that side. No, no, no. Go that way. Go around there. Okay, so this is just a chalkboard. I think it's about a 5.5 inch wide board. Hey! Did you see Molly licking the Did you see Molly licking the soil? Well, it's either 6X or bloodfish and bone or Gromo or I don't know, but she likes it, whatever it is. Yeah, this board is 5.5 inches. 5.5 inches. Okay. So that's the spacing for our rows. Just lay these guys out. Okay. I'll stay on this side, I think. I'll just recover these onions. What I'll do is I'll come down this side of the board. Okay. Got the gist of this now, haven't you? And I'm going to move the board and do the subsequent rows. Okay, so I'll switch the camera off now, and then we'll cut to the end of this plant in this video. That's it then. 5 rows of winter onions sown, 8 onions in a row, 5 8s of 40 winter onions, growing from seed in this raised bed. I think you can probably see the winds trying to flatten them already. So off camera I'll be actually trying to get some wind protection for these guys, otherwise they'll finish up flattened, won't they? Particularly bearing in mind we're moving into autumn and we'll move through winter, and these guys have got to stand through that. So yeah, I will try and get some protection around them to keep the wind off them. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that I can get most of these guys across the finish line by the middle of summer next year. But only time will tell, won't it? If you stay with me, you'll find out. You'll see a result, one way or another, whether they grow or they go to seed and we throw. We will get to the end, we will get a result, good or bad, and I will show you it. This is Homegrown Veg, signing out.